Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave Daily Update for the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, December the 10th, 2024. I'm going to begin on the Nasdaq. I'm on the 1-hour chart. Not much to be really discussing, so we're just going to update what I believe we've actually gone through thus far. We continue to be within the minute wave 5. To the upside, there is the low for minute wave 4. And so we're in 5. And so far, we've gotten minuette waves 1, 2, and 3 complete. So we're still within this minuette wave 4. And as we discussed yesterday, we run the possibility that it was really going to be an ABC zigzag. And that's pretty much exactly what has come through. And that we got the first 5 waves down. That was wave A, ABC for wave B, finishing up, excuse me, this morning, right after the opening, reaching our high and then beginning to sell off as we began the C wave down. So I believe that we're still within that C wave down. To quickly just put in our markers, we have where wave C would be equal to wave A, and that is at 21,338. And I actually thought this afternoon that we were going to get there. It's like they were doing some pretty good selling and the market was dropping. In fact, we got down to a low of 21,352, almost 353 actually. And I thought, okay, a little bit more, then we'll be done with this. But it stopped and we started to rally. Now, if I take it down and take a quick look at the 15-minute chart, kind of can see that we've got that. That would be, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. I'm still wondering, maybe we got a 4 and this would be the 5, in which case then this could be an ABC down and complete. But it just didn't seem like it was, except that the rally that we got, again, really at the hands of Tesla. So when we've got 1 or 2 stocks that are really in control of an upside move, I leave open that potential that, well, that's all it was, and then we're going to get back to business and the market will drop back down and reach our support levels that we're looking for and complete this structure. So I'm going to leave it at that. Now, if we just start to go from here, and let's say we get above 21,470 or 21,500, is pretty much is going to leave that low that we saw this afternoon in place as the likely completion point for this minuette wave 4. So nothing really changing in that respect. We're looking for that low to come in, and then we're looking for minuette wave 5. And accordingly then, right, minuette wave 5 up, new all-time highs yet again. Once I get the 4 in, I'll be able to fill in some of these blanks that we have. Let me go back out to the hourly chart. And those will be these above what we're looking at here. But we, again, that one is no longer valid. So let me get rid of that. Nah. Just get rid of that whole thing. Remove drawing and remove drawing. That part I can take away. So the 3 is in place and we're in the 4. So sorry for leaving that up there. So again, still leaving these in. Those are just the straight fibs for the minuette wave 4, and they're still valid. And again, 380, 338 down to 312 would be, 38% and retracement, 38.2% retracement, and that's pretty much exactly in line with what we expect from a 4th wave. So I'm leaving these down in case we do get a tumbler going. I'd be looking for this zone to contain it, not to really go below it, because I'm not really prepared to say that somehow 3's in here and 5's up here and this is all done and we're falling. That remains a possibility, again, because what these represent are the fibs for intermediate wave 3 and minor wave 5. So when those are sitting there and we got up close to them, we always have to bear in mind that it could be 1, 2, 3 here, 4 there, and 5 here, and we're done and we're going to drop. Now, again, if that's the case, this upside should be dying on the vine, so to speak, because we're getting ready to go 1, 2, 1, 2, drop. That would be if this is all done. we're just going to start to drop from here. That's also a possibility because if you remember, we talked about the seasonal charts. The seasonal charts continue to kind of pull us in that we've had this strong rally now. We've gotten up into what looking like mid-December. We're there, but we're going on the premise that it's like, well, they're not done. And as you can see, again today, we had a shift out of Apple early, back into Apple for the balance of the day. We saw some selling in Tesla, but then pretty much right after the opening, they started buying Tesla. And again, they ran it back above 400. They ran it back again this time. They got it above, I believe, 410. So they're going for these strike prices that are in Tesla. And so that's what really continues to be a play. And even in the after hours, Tesla is up $3 off of the close. So all of that remains in play. What will be in favor tomorrow? Will it be that NVIDIA will come back online and everybody will be putting their money back into NVIDIA? Will Meta then slide back down again? Microsoft up and down. So we got the larger players and they're kind of all over the board. So with relative strength being as sloppy as it is, excuse me, it's really due to the fact that the market, as far as the relative strength of this index, is up to 1 or 2 or 3 stocks. So when that happens and everything else is kind of wishy-washy, you get a lot of the just continued downside against 1 or 2 stocks really pulling it in the other direction. Now, I don't know how things are going to pan out tomorrow because, again, whatever during this whole period of, excuse me, during this whole period of getting ready for year end. So, year-end positioning, year-end posturing, what are we keeping? What are we getting out of? It does appear that a lot of traders or a lot of trading firms, a lot of portfolio managers, either this is all done just by traders and it's only for the week, or it's only up until the December expiration, but Tesla seems to be in a very strong play here. And it was to get it to 400. Now it's at 400 and it's above 400. What's next? So we'll see how much pull or push that's going to have on the indexes. So right now, I think I'm going to leave open the door for that we have a continued leg down. And right now, I'm going to look at it as a continuation of a C wave of a minuette wave 4. And so these are my levels. The first being 21,338 down to 21,312. And then 21,190 down to 21,172. So those are my clusters where I have for the corrective phase. If by chance, like I said just a few minutes ago, if this 3 goes down here and the 5 comes up here and it's 5 and then it's a 5 and then it's a 3, so it's minuette wave 5, minute wave 5, minor wave 5, intermediate wave 3. That's also out there. It's not sitting at the edge of the shelf, but it's on the shelf right now. And I'm looking for a little bit more, finishing up this minuette wave 4, and then we go back up. And again, as I said, once I have a 4 firmly in place, I will be putting wave 1 to wave 4, and we'll get all of these levels filled in and between here and here. See, there's all this black hole space, and a lot of that will go filled in as to possibilities for this intermediate wave 3 to complete. Looking at least on the hourly basis, kind of a mix, but I'm going to move out quickly. Let's take a look at the daily on how our moving averages are looking, and they're really just all pretty much the same. It's just late in the day we did break below the daily 8, but it was quickly retaken, and we did close pretty well above it. So that part is good. And excuse me. Excuse me on that. Somehow my voice is getting a little gravelly. So we have the 8 and then the 20 is still looking pretty good, and the 50 is looking good, and the 200 is looking pretty good. So that part is all sitting okay. Again, on the daily, the relative strength is kind of like really not doing all that great. And again, I think it's because of the breakup and then it's individual stocks in between. Let's go over and take a look at the S&P. Okay, so here, and we're going to take this one off. I'm going to remove text note, and I'm going to remove these. So we're pretty much, I'm satisfied with the fact that I'm going to bring this down off of there, go down to the hourly, that we're not in an extended 4 and we're not in an irregular B, that we're in a 1, 2, 3, and we're coming down in a 4th wave. And I've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to, actually that load's almost, I think, there. And as a quick B, or I can bring it down to here, A, B, C, B. So no matter what, it's just these fibs are pretty steady. So we got a 3, we're still in, we got the A, we got the B, we're looking at a C wave down. And here as well, we got pretty close to that 3A2, the low being 6,039 and almost 6,040. And the 3A2 marker was at 6,033. So again, got right down there, they popped above. So I'm thinking in terms of, if I bring it down to the 15, we can take a look inside this. Got a 1, 2, maybe this is a 3, a little 4. And again, strong, not a little 4 in terms of the structure. It's kind of just powered itself back up. But again, not broad-based. And that would give us the stronger clue. It's like, oh, the 4 is done and we're off to the races in a minuette wave 5. So I don't think that's quite finished just yet. But I am going to do one thing, bring this down there and see what that does. Changes it just probably a tad. And go back out to my hourly chart so I can see our markers. So again, A, B, we're coming down in a C wave, and I still believe there's going to be some more to go. Our first line is at 6,033, and then where C would equal A, B, C, is at 6,022. And then we have the 50% marker at 6,009. I continue to adhere to the fact that I really do believe that this minuette wave 4 will remain above 6,000. If it does a quick trip below, it will be boom and boom. So it goes down, comes back up. Now, same thing as we were talking about in the Nasdaq exists in the S&P as well, that we always have to stay in line with the fact that maybe, just maybe, this is where it was all finished. In terms of 1, 2, and we're going to put a 3, probably even, oh no, can't, because this all fits in 1. It doesn't really work, but I could, but I'm not going to try to jam it in here just off the fly. But as in the Nasdaq, there's always that possibility that the whole sequence finished here and that we're now beginning that corrective phase down, and it would be the A wave, of intermediate wave 4. That's again sitting on the shelf. It's just coming off, but I'm giving you what's next up in terms of alternative looks. So again, we're inside this 4. We got A, B, C. I think we're still got more to go to the downside. 33's top, and then we have 21, 22, and then 09. And that I think should contain the move and really put us in a position where we can stick a 4 down there. Again, same deal. I'll get the 1 over to the 4, and we'll be able to fill in all of this and this. So again, this still remains pretty strong in terms of minute wave 5 being 0.618 of minute wave 1, and it comes in just below 6,200. So that still remains a pretty good target to me for the completion of minute 5, minor 5, and intermediate wave 3. If not, we push through and we end up in here somewhere. So that remains the near-term picture, and we'll see what comes out. Now, again, tomorrow, it's going to be it's going to be interesting because tomorrow we have a CPI. And whether CPI is going to continue to show that inflation is creeping back into everybody's lives, or is it going to show an improvement again? Right now, the median forecast is set for an increase in the index. of 0.1%. That's expectation if it comes in before or below. CPI year over year, an increase of 0.1%. And the core CPI, unchanged. Now that's what the expectations are. We're going to wait and see. And then on back-to-back, so we have that on Thursday, and then on Wednesday, on Thursday, we have PPI. So, and then Friday, all the employment data. So here I think Friday, all the employment data. Let me just take a double look there. Hold on. I might be off by a week. That was last week. So this week will be import price index and on Friday, and that's it. So the big ones today are tomorrow, CPI, Thursday, PPI. And that I think could have an impact in either direction. If you remember last month, I think we got big swings in both directions on both days, ultimately ending up pushing higher. So that might be why we saw that a little bit of a buying and that extra hour bringing the market up. And we'll see what they want to do here. Bear in mind, in both the S&P and the Nasdaq, can this minuette wave 4 be complete? Yes, it can be. I'm giving the alternative, or just that the market may need a little bit more, being that the A wave is pretty big and the C wave would be small. But if I'm looking correctly, we almost could be thinking that we could get 0.618. And let me just go over there and show you where that would be. See, it went through it and then came back above it. So first up is always going to be C equals A. The next is 1.618, and the third most common is 0.618. That one could be the ticket. Now again, bringing it down to the 15-minute chart, you want to make sure that you can get in there and you can count 5. And I really can't. Sort of. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. So it doesn't look that it's complete. But then again, this is these are our markets today, and how they react and what they do sometimes does not fit neatly inside of an Elliott wave pattern. All right, that's going to be it for today. Our next update will be on Wednesday, December the 11th.